Hello, welcome back to another video. Right, before we get started today, 93% of you are not subscribed. If you do enjoy my weekly series or it's the informational videos, please do consider subscribing. I really appreciate it. Anyway, let's get on to the video. Right, so what is today's video about? Well, quite simply, it's about gatekeeping. And what do I mean by gatekeeping? What I mean by that is people around you that are playing the game are telling you need X, Y, Z before going to a certain spot. I think a lot of people might be misinformed or either just haven't tried it themselves, which is why you'll often be told that you need probably more gear than you actually do. So yeah, I don't necessarily think people are gatekeeping you because they want to keep it to themselves. I just think it's misinformation and people are just under this impression that you need so much gear to grind things like Fin or even Hexe. And having streamed the last few days, I started streaming recently, you can check out my Twitch here. Having streamed these last few days, I realized, because a lot of people ask me, hey man, I'm this and this gear, where should I go grind? I always give an answer of, first and foremost, you should be enjoying what you're grinding. That's the main thing, right? And that kind of leads into the point of how I discovered what gear do you actually need to grind places, right? If I go back, until beginning of April, I was just longing to grind Hexe because everyone was like, oh man, I'm making 1 billion an hour at Hexe. I was like, man, I want to make that money as well. So I went there. I was 293 AP. 365 DP my first time. Sure, I died a bit. Did I die because I'm undergeared? I mean, I'd argue that no, that's not the case. I'd argue that you can grind Hexe from 365 plus DP, depending on class. It's going to vary per class. I haven't tried every class, so don't take my word for it, but on Cirque at least, and Megu, which are the classes I tried at this DP, it worked fine. As soon as I got comfortable with all the mechanics of the spot and whatnot, it ended up being quite doable. Now, that's not to say that, hey, if you're this gear, pull up to the spot and you'll do amazing right off the bat. You have to keep in mind, you do have a lot less gear than the average person probably grinding here. So duel for spot is going to be harder. It's going to require more attention when you're grinding the spot because you're less DP, you're killing the mob slower, which means that the grind at the end of the day might not be for you anyway. As in, it requires too much energy to be there for more than just an hour. But, like I said, that's not to say it's not doable. I started Hexe at 293, 365 DP. And I'll give you another example. I did Fins when I was 269, 361 I believe. I don't exactly remember my DP then. Regardless, those were roughly my stats and I started going lower Fin. Now, was it the most efficient grind ever? No, probably not, right? But it was still worth doing, and at the end of the day, I was doing what I actually was wanting to do, which resulted in me grinding a lot longer. I think you have to take this video with a grain of salt in terms of I am a very thorough believer and promoter of go and do what you want to do in game. Don't do what people tell you to do, necessarily. But if you are looking for the most efficient options, I mean, I'm more than happy to answer those questions as well, in terms of what's the most efficient. But ultimately, I'm always going to tell you to do what you want to do. Because if you do what you want to do in game, you're going to be playing 5 to 6 hours rather than playing 1 to 2 hours. Yeah, I don't want to make this video too long. I want to keep it short and to the point. But if there's anything I want you to take away from this video today, if you're close to the gear that people are telling you should be to grind at a spot, give it a try. Just go grind an hour, 15 minutes, doesn't matter. Just try it out. See what it feels like, and maybe you've found your new spot and you'll be there for hundreds of hours to come. Small little tip if you are trying out something new, don't wear your best crystals, just in case you die once or twice while you're learning the spot. But it's important to note that crystals are very deciding in whether or not you can grind a spot like Hexe if you're low geared. If you have any questions whatsoever, hit me up down in the comments, and if not, you're more than welcome to join me live on Twitch and I'll answer you there. On that note, it's time to end today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, I'm looking at you. You better subscribe right now.